Good afternoon and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. Okay, so I was on the phone to Richard up at Questioning Sense HQ, and Richard, like me, watches quite a lot of reviewers on YouTube and things like that. And he came up with the idea that obviously it's quite popular on YouTube now to do sort of top tens and things like that. And I've never really done one. Well, we've never done one. So Rich thought, well, why don't we have a go at doing it? I was a bit reticent, and I'll tell you for why. I waffle quite a lot, so the idea of talking about 10 fragrances could be a bit awkward, or it could end up to me just rambling along and, a video going on forever and ever and ever. So I kind of said, all right, we'll give it a go. Now, to do a review on 10 fragrances would take all day, so this is going to be like a whistle-stop tour of fragrances. And what we're going to be looking at are my sort of autumnal or autumn fall type fragrances. Now, some I've already done quite in-depth reviews on, and a couple I haven't. The ones that I haven't reviewed properly yet, there will be reviews coming out. So we're going to be going over a little bit of old ground and potentially some new ground as well. So I hope you find this interesting. It's a new concept for us. Obviously, it's a very well-trodden path, and lots of reviewers are doing it. So we thought, why not? So I'm actually due to go to the pub very soon. So now I thought would be the perfect time to film it, because I'm chomping at the bit. I've had a really stressful day at work, so I'm desperate to get down my local and get some ale and chuck it down my neck. So, right, to just do 10, I've been sort of, mucking around with this in my head for a while, and it was impossible. So I'm going to have to cheat and do some honourable mentions before we start the full 10. And my first honourable mention will be this guy here, which I've recently reviewed, and that's Aramis's Tobacco Reserve. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance, tonka and tobacco. What a mix. The reason this gets an honourable mention, is not in my top 10, is simply because I haven't had it very long yet. And although I love it now, there's still a period where, I don't really know it that well, but I'm pretty sure this should really be in the top 10. In fact, it should really. So just an excuse to talk about this one again. So that's Aramis Tobacco Reserve. Beautiful. The next honourable mention is one that I've reviewed in a sample, and I've also then did a little follow-up to it when I actually bought it, and that's Min New York Barrel. Absolutely love this now. This is just such an amazing fragrance. Boozy, earthy, peaty, woody, fabulous, fabulous stuff. Really, really good. And for a short period of time, it was an absolute bargain at TK Maxx, which I think that bargain period is now well over. All right, so that was my second honourable mention. And my third honourable mention is this. And this is a Perfume Parlour clone of Tom Ford's Moss Bretches. Now, the reason I'm using, because this is one of the few times I'm actually going to be talking about or showing off a clone when I've never smelt the original, and nor am I likely. Moss Bretches was one of the original, I think it came out in 2007. It was one of the earlier sort of Tom Ford private blends, but it's been sadly long since discontinued. And to get hold of an original now will cost an absolute fortune. They're going on, even small samples on eBay are going for big, big money. But this is beautiful. It was quite well known at the time for having beeswax in it. Now, I get a kind of an earthy green, lavendery, spicy, slightly sweet. I don't get beeswax out of it, but then I'm not a beekeeper, so I, off the top of my head, without sort of spending time, I wouldn't know what beeswax smells like. It does have a sweetness, which I kind of pick up a little bit maybe of honey, so I think that's probably the interpretation of beeswax, so I don't really know. But it's a wonderful scent. It has a strange opening. Now, someone I do know who has both this and the original does say that Perfume Parlour do a really, really good job, although the opening is slightly odd. It's slightly out. It's not quite right, but then it settles down. In some respects, this smells like an old-fashioned lady's perfume, and I kind of get that from the opening, but it's quite addictive. It then settles down and becomes quite a smooth, sort of spicy, green, earthy affair. It's quite a difficult one to describe, but from Perfume Parlour, this was £12 for 50ml. if you're in the UK, get it. It's a really, really lovely, and it's got superb performance as well. We're looking sort of 6, 7, maybe 8 hours performance on that with some good projection. So Moss Bretches Perfume Parlour clone, really, really good. So that's the honourable mentions out the way, and now we'll get to my top 10. The top 3 are in particular order, but the rest are kind of, you know, love them all, love them all. So okay, here we have number 10, Bentley for Men Intense. Done a full review of this, one of Natalie Lawson's finest ever perfumes, in my opinion. Absolute beauty. To some it's a beast, to others it's just okay, it performs all right. To me it has an incredibly loud opening, rum, bam, really, really good. It's not beast mode, but it does perform quite well for me. I get a very loud opening and then it stays as quite a soft skin scent for a very, very, very long time. Full review down below, have a look. Enjoy that one. That's going to be perfect for the autumn. It'll probably be pretty good for the winter too. Okay, next up we have Vetiver by LT Piver. Another one that I've done a review on. In fact, this was the first review we ever did, so that's quite a special one. This is beautiful. This was also one of the bargains of the century. I got this in TK Maxx for I think £14. Fabulous, fabulous fragrance. It's earthy vetiver that slightly that becomes quite smoky. Really, really nice. One of my favourite interpretations of vetiver. Absolutely love it. And it has got a really crisp apple note. So it's kind of a bit fresh to start off with. This would be perfect for a crisp autumnal morning. Really, really good. Because it starts off quite cold and crisp and then it becomes quite smoky. Really, really good fragrance. Again, another one with really good longevity. Beautiful fragrance. So that's my number 9. I'm going to get well confused doing this, as you're going to see. So, number 8, another one I've reviewed fairly recently, and that's Lattafa's Oud Mood. Oudy, woody, slightly smoky, ambery, beast. Look at that, huge, massive bottle, cheap as chips, perfect for the autumn. You'll get a lot of pleasure out of this. I know I've spoken to a few people that have bought this since I've done the review, and they've been really, really pleased with their purchases. So that's certainly one to look out for. If you've not got this yet, and you're looking for a slightly oudy but not overly oudy fragrance, have a look at that. Again, full review below. Now, I think we're at 7, and this is quite a unique one, and this is by Al Aniq, and this is called Oud Jamal. This is beautiful and really cheap too. This is like 20 quid. I don't know if you can get this in the US yet. They're a British company based in Bradford, I think, and I absolutely adore this. It's quite a sweet take on oud. It's woody. It's an oud wood fragrance. But if I were to list all the notes in this, it would go on. You know, this review would go on for ages and ages and ages. So it's sweet. It's got lots and lots of different fruits and stuff like that in it. Although it's not. It's more of a light, sweet, woody oud fragrance. The oud is quite refined. It's not animalic, it's not barnyard, it's not overly medicinal, it's not particularly strong, but the performance is stellar. This goes on for hours. This is an all-day wear, really, really good, and for the money, I don't think it can be bettered. Now, carrying on with the oud, my next. See, I've lost the numbers already.
You're an idiot.
That was always going to happen. This is Mancera the Oud. This was the first Mancera that I actually bought, and I absolutely adore this. I haven't worn this in summer because it's a bit oppressive, I think. This is beautiful. I cannot say enough good things about this. One of Mancera's finest, in my opinion, anyway. And I've got quite a few of them, but this is probably my favourite, I think. I don't know, that changes on a daily basis, but today this is probably my favourite Mancera. This is an oudy opening. There's a sweet rose, but it's not overly sweet. There's woods. I think there's a bit of saffron there. Beautiful dry down. There's a little bit of leather in there as well. Incredibly potent, massive opening. Really, really good longevity. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance. So highly recommended. And that's the Oud. Right, next up, we have this. which is a new one to me. I've not had this very long, and this is Incident Diplomatique by Javoy, and this, or Javoy Paris. This came out in 2018, and this is an absolute banger. It's a beautiful fragrance. I will be doing a full review of this very, very soon. But effectively, this is a spicy take on vetiver and patchouli with like a sandalwood base. It's a little divisive. There's a few people absolutely love this, and there's a few people that really don't like it. I think this is absolutely beautiful. Be careful with it. It's a lot more potent than I thought it was. A lot of people told me that this was a real sort of superstar, a real banger. And when I bought it, I wore it that afternoon and thought, yeah, I got really good performance out of it, but not outrageous. I wore it to work, and a colleague said to me, and I had sprayed quite a lot, and a colleague said, you smell really nice. Did you leave any cologne in the bottle? So it was a lot stronger than I thought. Yet another overspraying incident involving myself. This is also quite well known. It's got two types of vetiver in it. It's got a Haitian vetiver and another kind of vetiver, which escapes me at the moment. Now, I couldn't tell you that just by smelling it. I can tell you that by reading the notes. It just has a lovely vetiver. There's a little bit of smokiness in there. Very, very grown up, very professional smelling frag. Very masculine. Again, brave woman can wear this. No issues with that at all. Powerful stuff. Highly recommended. Highly, highly, highly recommended. I'm really, really enjoying this, and it's getting a lot of wear. It's just it's a beautiful fragrance. Really, really is. You can dress it down, you can wear it casual, you can just enjoy it, whatever. Stunning frag, can't say enough good things about it. Gonna be a bit divisive. You're gonna need to sample this one. Brilliant stuff. Next up, we have an old friend who I've rediscovered. This is G.O.F. Trumpers Sandalwood. Not specifically an autumnal fragrance. I can hear people screaming, you can't just wear that in the autumn. No, you can't. You can wear this all year round. It's gorgeous. But I think there's something about this that just, I really want to wear this in the autumn. I really want to wear it all year round, to be honest. It's absolutely delicious. It's a celebration of Mysore sandalwood. There's some citrus in the opening. There's some spices in there as well. It's just delicious. It's a very, to me, it is unisex. It can be, if a woman wears it, she'll smell amazing. If a guy wears it, he will smell amazing and masculine. This is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Now, the interesting thing is, it's called a cologne, but it has absolutely amazing performance. It lasts on me a good 6-7 hours of really, really good, noticeable, not projection, because it does project, but it's not a massive projector, but it doesn't become skin scent. It's a bit more than a skin scent. What it does do though, is it has an amazing sillage. It hangs in the air and it follows you around. You get this amazing trail. People will notice you wearing this, and people will compliment you on this. And the best thing about it is it's quite cheap. It's only about £40 for 50ml. I don't know if you can get it outside of the UK. I'm sure you can. If you don't know who Trumpers are, they're a very famous barbers, Prince Charles's barbers. So you can go there for a haircut. You can have your wet shave, and they sell lines, a line of skin products and stuff like that. Years ago, this actually I think came out in 2002 in this current sort of iteration. I think it may have been around before that. Years ago, I used to work for one of the large international courier companies, and Trumpers were a client of mine. I got sent lots of different samples, lots of shaving products, and I got a sample of this. And I wore it to death, bought a bottle and wore it to death. And then for some reason, when that bottle ran out, I think I bought some Amen or something like that. I can't remember. And I forgot all about it. Now, I was in town the other day and popped in there, sniffed it again and thought, yeah, do you know what? I'm having that. And I'm a bit addicted to this. So, yeah, highly, highly recommended. Real classic smelling fragrance, and possibly one of the best interpretations of sandalwood that you can get in a fragrance. If you like sandalwood, you have to have this. It's as simple as that. Beautiful stuff. Right, now we are down to the top 3. see, I've managed to pull it back on the numbers front, but then again, I've got 3 bottles of perfume in front of me, so it's quite easy. So in the third place, we have this Fakir El Oud by Alanique. Now, I'm on my second bottle of this. This is beautiful. Again, it's an Alanique fragrance, and this is that company from Bradford I mentioned earlier in the UK. I wore this to work today. This is just beautiful. If you've ever smelled Atkinson's Oud Save the King or 24 Scent Story Gold, you'll know what this smells like, because I think this is kind of like a clone of both of them. It's slightly oudy, slightly smoky, lots of vanilla, lots of wood. It opens a bit like Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, and then it becomes exciting. It has nuclear strength. It lasts all day. You have to wash it off. Don't get it on clothes, because it will stay on clothes forever. It's a warm, cuddly, enticing, intoxicating Eastern style fragrance. The oud is a very Western oud in there. It's not a scary oud at all. It's beautiful. It just gives the vanilla some depth. It adds some base to it. It's just the woods. There's a musk in here as well that's quite sweet with the vanilla. Beautiful fragrance. You will get compliment after compliment after compliment from this, and it projects really well. It gives you a wonderful aura. It's not screechy, it's not sharp, it's deep, it's inviting, it's warm, it smells amazing. It's £30 for 100 ml, and that is the easiest £30 you will ever spend on a fragrance. For that price, I don't think there's many that can beat it. As I say, it does sound a bit like the 24 Gold. They smell a bit like the 24 Gold, which I believe is now discontinued. So if you want that, get this. If you want Atkinson's Oud Save the King, and why wouldn't you? Because that is a beautiful fragrance, but it's an expensive fragrance if you're buying it retail. Have a look at that. You could save yourself a fortune, and you get the same amazing performance. I cannot say enough good things about this. In fact, when I tried this, the first thing I did was I bought Rich a bottle and sent it up to Questioning Scents HQ, and he is absolutely addicted to it as well. So that's my number 3, and this would also be in my top 3 for winter too. So now we're down to the top 2, and I think you're probably going to guess what's coming. So number 2, Orto Paresi Toroni. Absolute banger. Beautiful, beautiful, smoky, powerful, deep, intense, biblical strength. Love Toroni. It's, as I said in my review of this, this is what Black Afghano used to be, in my opinion. No hash in this. Well, not really a discernible hash note. Slight hint of smoked paprika, slight hint of roasting nuts, woodsy, beautiful, superb, superb fragrance. So that's my number 2 for autumn or fall, depending on which country you're in. And the number 1, no surprises, Pardon by Massamoto. So obviously with my history, it was no shock to find that the number 1 and the number 2 spots were going to be Gualtieri Creations, but there you go. Well, this is also probably my number 1 fragrance for every season. I wear this in the summer, I wear it in the spring, I wear it in the autumn, and I wear it in the winter. I absolutely adore Pardon. Do you know what? I'm going to wear this to the pub tonight. So listen, thank you very much for your time. I hope I haven't made a complete hash of this. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you've managed to stay awake all the way through it. Some normal reviews will be coming. As I say, we've still got so many to do, and we're trying to get them out. I will get a review of Incident Diplomatique and the Trumpers Sandalwood done pretty quick sharp, so you can have a little bit more of an in-depth look at those 2 fragrances, because they're very important fragrances, and I think you will like them. As all of these are, they're all favourites of mine, and they're all ones that I really, really like. Anyway, enough of this. I'm going down the pub. See ya. Bye.